are prone to enter our minds, but they serve only to develop abstract thought and to expand the consciousness, for they are as yet insoluble and will remain so. Some of them might be enumerated as follows. 1. Who is the cosmic entity in whose scheme our Logos plays his little part? 2. What is the nature of the great purpose he is working out? 3. Which center in his body is represented by our solar system? 4. What is the nature of the incarnation he is now undergoing? 5. What are the 10 systems, the 3 and the 7 of which our solar system is one? Must we look for the major 3 within the 7, or extraneously? 6. What is the coloring or basic quality of this cosmic entity? 7. Is the coloring of the 4th cosmic ether, the Buddhic plane, blue, or is it violet, to correspond with our 4th physical ether? Why is Buddhi exoterically regarded as yellow in color? 8. Which are the primary 3 centers in the body of our solar Logos and which the minor 4? 9. What is the karma of the different schemes? 10. What is the overbalancing karma of the Logos himself, as it affects the 10 schemes within his system? All these questions, and numbers of others, will arise in the mind of the interested student, but beyond the formulation of them he may not as yet go, though the 5th round will see the realization, by men, of the nature of the karma of the Logos of our chain. Words, as oft we have been told, blind and stultify. In summing up, this quality of menace may be somewhat apprehended if the student regards it as the intelligent will, the active purpose, and the fixed idea of some entity which brings about existence, utilizes form, and works out effects from causes through discrimination in matter, separation into form, and the driving of all units within his sphere of influence to the fulfillment of that set purpose. Man is the originating source of mind as regards the matter of his vehicles, and their latent monasic impulse. So again with the heavenly man and his larger sphere of influence, and so with the solar Logos. Each discriminated, and thus formed his ring pass knot. Each has a purpose in view for every incarnation. Each is actively following and intelligently working to effect certain ends, and thus each is the originator of menace to his scheme. Each is the animating fire of intelligence to his system. Each, through this very monasic principle individualizes, expands gradually this self-realization, till it includes the ring pass knot of the entity through whom the 5th principle comes to him. And each attains initiation, and eventually escapes from form. 3. Human menace. We are now to consider primarily man and the monasic principle, its development in the 4th creative hierarchy, the human monads, with special reference to our earth chain. We have seen that, to all intents and purposes, menace is the active will of an entity working itself out through all the lesser lives who go to the content of the ring pass knot or sphere of influence of the indwelling existence. Therefore as concerning man on this chain he is but expressing the purpose, and the will in action of the planetary Logos in whose body he is a cell, or lesser life. Certain mysteries arise consequently for our consideration which are connected with the life cycles of the heavenly man of our scheme, and particularly in relation to that special incarnation of his which we call the cycle of manifestation on the dense physical globe, the earth. He wears the planetary body as man wears the robe of the physical body, and by means of this objective form he works his purposes out on the physical plane, through the factor of mind achieving certain goals. Incidentally, the cells in his body conform to that mind which plays upon them, just as man, the intelligent principle of incarnation on the physical plane, brings into conformity with his purpose the atoms of his body, and stimulates ever more and more the spirally of those atoms by the force of his mind playing upon them. Here comes the opportunity to make clear something that is oft lost sight of in the general fog surrounding this subject. The human and deva units on the upward arc, who are the cells in his body, go to the formation of the centers, and not to the remainder of the cellular vital substance of his vehicles. Man has a body made up of matter which is applied to different uses, yet which forms a unit. In this unit there are certain areas of more vital importance than other areas from the standpoint of energizing force. Such an area as the heart may, in this connection, be considered and compared, as regards force value, with such an area as the calf of the leg. The entity, man, utilizes both, but the heart center is of paramount importance. Thus is it also with the heavenly man. The two great hierarchies, Eva and human, are force centers in the body of a planetary logos. The other evolutions of an involutionary nature extant within the scheme, and the remainder of the active substance of the globes, and all contained therein, go to the content of the remainder of his body. A. Man and the planetary logos. With the Devi evolution at this point we have not to do. I seek to concentrate attention on man, as he functions on earth. In order to clarify the idea of manas, and its relation to a human being, it is necessary to point out certain things in connection with the heavenly man which must be borne in mind. First, that each heavenly man holds the position of a center in the body of the solar logos. Therefore, the logos of a scheme will embody some outstanding characteristic. The 10 schemes are the 7, and the synthesizing 3, not the 7 and the lower 3. The lower centers were vital in the last solar system, from the esoteric standpoint, and are not counted in this. They were synthesized and absorbed during the obscuration process of System I. Secondly, each heavenly man is consequently the embodiment of a particular kind of electrical force, which flows through his scheme as man's force flows through some one of the etheric centers in his body. Each scheme, as each human center, will A. vibrate to some one key. B. have its own coloring. C. resemble, when seen from the higher planes, a vast lotus. D. possess, according to its vibratory capacity, a definite number of petals. E. be connected in geometrical formation with certain other centers of heavenly men, making systemic triangles. 134 letters on occult meditation, page 79 to 84, when speaking of man and his centers of Frank, and 32. Be characterized by different stages of activity, according to the initiation towards which the logos may be working. Thus, at one period one center, or heavenly man may be the subject of logoic attention, and of specialized stimulation, and at another period a totally different scheme may be the object of vitalization. For some time the logos has turned his attention to the Earth scheme and to Saturn, whilst Uranus is receiving stimulation. Much is therefore accentuated, and increased evolutionary development is the consequence of this divine attention. When these facts are borne in mind, it will be seen that the interaction, and the complexity, is of vast proportions, and man can do no more than accept the fact, and leave the explanation until his consciousness is of greater scope. Third, one of the mysteries revealed at initiation is that of the logoic center which our scheme represents, and the type of electrical fire which is flowing through it. The 7 brothers, or the 7 types of poetic force, express themselves through the 7 centers, and the one who is animating our scheme stands revealed at the third initiation. It is by knowledge of the nature and quality of the electrical force of our center, and by realization of the place our center holds in the body logoic, that the hierarchy achieves the aims of evolution. It will be obvious that the heavenly man who stands for the Kundalini center, for instance, will work differently, and have a different purpose and method, from his brother who stands for the heart center in the body logoic, or to the heavenly man who embodies the logoic solar plexus. From this it is apparent that A. the type of electrical force B. the vibratory action C. the purpose D. The evolutionary development e. The dual and triangular interaction of all the heavenly men will differ, and so will the evolutions that form the cells in their bodies differ likewise. Little has as yet been revealed and the types of evolutions which are to be found in the other schemes of our system. Suffice it to say that in all the schemes, on some globe in the scheme, human beings or self-conscious units are to be found. Conditions of life, environment and form may differ, but the human hierarchy works in all schemes. It must also be borne in mind that just as all 7 heavenly men are found in the body logoic, and are themselves under the influence of 7 solar logoi, using the word influence in its astrological sense, so in the planetary scheme with its 7 globes each is astrologically under the influence of all the 7 heavenly men. A scheme is but a replica of a system. Each of the heavenly men pours forth his radiation or influence, and stimulates in some way some other center or globe. To word it otherwise, his magnetism is felt by his brothers in a greater or less degree according to the work being undertaken at any one time. At present the heavenly men, representing centers at different stages of stimulation, being not all equally developed and being not as yet psychically unified, this magnetic interplay is little realized, and the psychic flow from one scheme to another is little utilized or comprehended. As time elapses, this interplay of force will become more evident and the force will be consciously employed. When men, for instance, know the quality of the force flowing through their particular scheme, the purpose and name of the center they stand within, the center or heavenly man with whom the logos of their scheme is allied, which 2 schemes form, with their own, a triangle for logoic force at a certain stage of evolutionary development. The secret of the cycles, or the periods of stimulation or obscuration. Then will the body logoic begin to achieve its purpose. Then will the logos of our system begin to blend, and merge and coordinate all his vehicles. Then will the force flow through all the centers unimpeded. And then will the glory shine out, and each cell in every body logoic, planetary, deva and human, blaze forth with perfected glory, vibrate with adjusted accuracy, and a major cosmic initiation be taken. Be the logos of our scheme. The heavenly man or planetary logos of the earth scheme can be considered in various ways, and as is our custom we will simply tabulate the statements anent him which, when considered at length by the individual student, should serve to make the fact of the essential personality of this great entity, the work that he is endeavoring to accomplish, and the relationship of the human hierarchy to him, a greater reality. We must bear in mind in studying this matter that it will not be possible to reveal for general publication details as to his specific identity, his number and his scope of conscious development. Such mysteries, as earlier pointed out, are reserved for those who are pledged to keep silent. But some general idea may be conveyed, before we take up specifically this chain and round. It might be asked when all this information is of use, and what purpose it serves in this hour of the world's need. Apart from the fact that the cyclic giving out of the truth works under the law, and may not be gainsaid, it is suggested